I cannot believe it, but it's true. This is the last and final episode of Yogavaidhyam Express. To recap, Yogavaidhyam Express is Yogavaidhyam's first ever podcast, and Yogavaidhyam is a yoga venture started in 2020 with the aim of familiarizing yoga therapy as a remedy for health issues. It's been quite a ride, don't you agree? We started off with the fetal stage during pregnancy in the first episode, and then talked about how yoga and yoga therapy hold relevance in toddlerhood, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and middle age in the subsequent episodes. We were joined by several guests. Of course, Madam Srividya, the founder of Yoga Vaidyam, was a constant presence. But we also heard from some of her colleagues. Mr. Upili, Mr. Radhakrishnan, and Dr. Anand shared their pearls of wisdom with us. We also heard from Mrs. Dhruva Patel, one of Srividya's students. Now, it's time to complete the journey through this podcast by addressing the last and final phase of life, old age. The word second childishness has always stayed with me from my days of reading Shakespeare's As You Like It. It's quite accurate, isn't it? One slowly tends to lose one's sense of self, mentally and physically, as age progresses. Madam Srividya, what are your thoughts on this phase of life?
People of this category are senior citizens who are rich in their experiences. Professionally, they would have reached retirement, but the necessity to remain the breadwinner or because they feel young at heart and have enthusiasm towards work, they continue the same profession or pursue their line of interest as their career. They keep their lifestyle active in such a way that they can be treated as senior citizens only when they turn 80 years of age. It is the age to be enjoyed with a spouse after completing all the commitments towards their children. The natural tendency of people of this age would be to lead a simple, monotonous life of reading newspaper, cooking simple food, chatting with relatives and friends, and visiting places of worship. Though it is true, it should be done with quality. Yoga gives that quality. Practicing yoga for a minimum of 20 minutes on a daily basis will give a tremendous change in the quality of life.
Okay, I think you've superbly described this age group in a nutshell. How do you think they can spend their lives such that it has a rich quality?
They can engage themselves in spirituality by giving more importance to breath watching and pranayama practices. Pilgrimages to different places of mythological importance can be made. People who would like to do volunteering can engage themselves in such activities. They can learn something new of their interest.
These are rather good to hear, but life in general is not a bed of roses. And at this age, most certainly not. If there is trouble in the form of health issues, how can they be handled by these senior citizens?
Having sons and daughters abroad, it is not easy for all elders to visit them periodically. Those who happen to manage on their own either depend on senior citizen homes or live by themselves. Living by themselves with some health issues is a real task without dependable support. This could increase their glucose level or hypertension reading, followed by sleepless nights. The practice of yoga therapy will divert their mind, and at the same time, the physical body will be active. An active body and mind itself is a gift at this age.
Thank you for those insights, Srividya. Since you have handled several geriatric cases, can you please share some challenges you faced while teaching seniors?
Sure, I have taught a 92-year-old lady who was cooperative initially, but would do tantrums like a child at times, saying, "What am I going to gain by doing yoga at this age? Please leave me." Her daughter will ask her to cooperate, and her concern for her aged mother will make me to be more patient. The irony here is the daughter herself was 70 years old. Longevity is suffered sometimes. The truth is, teaching yoga to aged people requires a lot of time. dedication, and patience, both on the students and the instructor's end. Due to aging and limitation in body flexibility, their range of movements will be very minimal. So, the teacher may have to wait for a longer time to see the results.
A thought to ponder about, certainly. Can you talk about some interesting incidents that happened while you taught yoga to elders?
One of my neighbors, who was around the age of 80, wanted to have a therapy class. Being a talkative person with sound knowledge, if I gave in a little, he would have given me a lecture on various interesting topics during my class every single day of my visit. Since he was a family friend of mine, I took the privilege of using a timer while conducting the class to avoid distraction.
Oh, really? I guess every profession comes with its own set of interesting and sometimes entertaining challenges. Did you also have some yoga nerds? I mean, sincere students?
I used to have sincere senior citizen students of ages varying from 65 to 78 in my fitness class. They will never miss the class and will try their best to do the practice. The efforts put by them when compared with young students would be remarkable. Having understood the value of doing yoga out of their chronological experience, their sincerity would be far better than youngsters.
I see. There's a thing or two to learn from these stories, I think. Dear listeners, let's not wait until it's too late. Let's start including yoga in our lives right away. Thank you, Madam Srividya, for indulging us with these interesting experiences you've had in teaching people of this age. Now, let's hear the perspective of one of Srividya's own students.
I am S.V. Raghavan, retired executive from Nationalized Bank, aged 73 years. Being a bank executive, I was busy and hardly had time to learn yoga. So I was having morning exercise by way of walking only till the age of 65. Of course, I was eager to learn yoga, especially after one of my colleagues, Mr. Sridhar, who left the bank and learned as well as started taking classes in Krishnamurti Yoga Mandir. He rose to the level of one of the trustees of KYM. In 2015, when I was 65, I learnt about Vidya, who had a training in KYM and considered as one of the best teachers in yoga. I had the privilege of learning yoga directly from her. She inquired about my health conditions, and based on that, she took classes. Her classes initially is for yoga. She taught me pranayama as well as meditation. Because of yoga, even now I have good flexibility of my body, and that made my life active. Her meditation classes improved my memory power, so no dementia, etc. Similarly, her pranayama classes improved my health conditions. So every day I could do combination of yoga, meditation and pranayama for 1 hour, apart from morning walk of 1 hour. So I don't gasp or breathe even if I climb staircases up to 6 floors. I have to thank Vidya for giving me a quality life. Thank you. Good wishes to her.
Thank you, Mr. Raghavan, for sharing your views on our podcast. It was wonderful to have you with us today. With that, it's time for me to say my farewell as the podcast is coming to an end. It's been an incredibly rewarding experience hosting this podcast. I've certainly learned a lot from these esteemed yoga professionals, and I hope that you have too. I would like to thank Mrs. Srividya for sportively agreeing to launch this podcast and extend my warmest thanks to every guest speaker on Yogavaidhyam Express. I hope to be back again as host of another of Yogavaidhyam's podcasts, perhaps. Until then, take care and bye.